Welcome to Combat Painter Tabletop Winter Baseball, and we are replaying the 1968 World Series. It is October 10th, 1968, Game 7 at Busch Stadium, and it's the Detroit Tigers versus the St. Louis Cardinals. We are joining the action in the bottom of the fourth. The game is tied at 2, and Shannon drove in a run in that first inning for the St. Louis Cardinals with a double. In the bottom of the second, the Cardinals took a 2-0 lead with a run-scoring single by Lou Brock. That made the score 2-0. In the top of the third, the Tigers were not to be denied, and they scored 2 runs on an error by the catcher and a sacrifice fly. So the score stands at 2 apiece, and the Cards leave 2 men on base. We go to the top of the 7th. The score still tied at 2. Game 7 of the 1968 World Series between the Detroit Tigers and the St. Louis Cardinals. It's going to be Gibson pitching to Bill Freehan, Wirt, and Lolich here in the top of the 7th of a tie game. Here's the pitch. It's a 2-12. It's a fly ball. Left field. Brock. 1 away. And it's Wirt. Wirt is 1 for 2. Single and scored a run. And that's 3-9. 3-9 is a ground ball to the third baseman. Shannon over to first. 2 down. And it's going to be Lolich. And Lolich's card is he's a one hitter, so we have to flip that pitcher batting card over to the one side. It's the pitch. It's a 6-12. It's a ground ball back to Gibson, who handles it over to first. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. 2-2 to score. Roger Maris batting 7th today. Moved down in batting order. This is actually Roger Maris's last game, so say goodbye to Roger. It's going to be a 6, Lolich 6-10, a strikeout. Lolich has struck out 3 in a row. And it's Dal Maxville, who's 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. It's a 5-5. A 5-5 is a ground ball to the second baseman, McAuliffe, over to first. And now it's going to be the pitcher. Pitcher hitting card number 2. We're flipping that over. And it's going to be Lolich with the pitch to Gibson. Gibson has some power. It's a 3-9. A 3-9 ground ball to the first baseman. And Cash takes it himself. And we go to the top of the 8th inning. It's going to be leadoff McAuliffe against Gibson. McAuliffe, Stanley, and Kaline. Here's the pitch. It's 6-10. It's a 10 ground ball to the second baseman, Javier. Javier over to first, 1 away in the top of the 8th. Stanley, that ball is hit hard into the gap, and that's going to bounce off the wall, and running it down is the center fielder Flood. He gets to it. Mickey Stanley turning second. He's going to go for 3. Here comes the relay. Safe, not in time, and that's a triple for Mickey Stanley. So he's at third base with the go-ahead run here in the top of the 8th inning. Mickey Stanley hit 6 triples in 1968, so he's got some triple power. So the infield's going to be playing in now. You have Bob Gibson pitching against Kaline and Cash with the go-ahead run at third base, 90 feet away. See what happens. Here's Kaline. And it's going to be off Kaline's card, a 3-6, and that's strike 3. Big pitch by Gibson, and now it's going to be Cash against Gibson. And Cash batted .263 with 15 doubles, 1 triple, and 25 home runs. So he's got some power. Here's the pitch to Cash. 2 outs, runner on third. The score tied 2-2 in the top of the 8th. And it's going to be a 3-7. A 3-7 is going to be a line drive, base hit, and in comes Stanley to score the go-ahead run for the Tigers. This is amazing, folks. If you think about that, at one point, the Tigers were down 3-0 going into Game 4 of a 7-game series, and now we stand in Game 7 with the Tigers leading 3-2 and basically 6 outs away from being world champions. It's quite amazing. So, Cash is on at first, Willie Horton the batter, and Bob Gibson looks in for the sign. He sets and he deals, and it's a 4-8. It's off Gibson's card. Let's look and see what that is. A 4-8 is a strike 3, and that ends the inning. The 6th strikeout for Gibson, but, and that's a big but, the Tigers have taken the lead 3-2 in the top of the 8th inning. And the Tigers have action in the bullpen. It's Hiller out there and Patterson. So it's Julian Javier is going to bat. Actually, no, it is not Julian Javier. It's Lou Brock who's going to bat. He's 1 for 3 on the day against Lolich. And it's 5-6, so it's going to be off Lolich's card. A 5-6. It's going to be a ball that's hit into the gap, and that's going to bounce. And to get it is the center fielder, Northrup. Northrup gets it in, but Brock is in at second base with a double. So a leadoff double puts Brock at second base. Scores 3-2 Detroit. And it's going to be Julian Javier. And we're going to see what happens here. Javier batted .260 with 25 doubles, 4 triples, and 4 home runs. Oh. The pitch from Lolich. And it's 3-11. It's going to be off Javier's card. The infield is, well, back. Playing, obviously back. 3-11. And that's a walk, ball 4. So that's a walk, and it's first and second now. And it's going to be Curt Flood, who is 2 for 3 on the day. We're going to have a quick pitching change. Here we are joining the action. It is the bottom of the 8th inning. The score is Detroit 3 and St. Louis 2 in Game 7 of the 1968 World Series. We are playing at Busch Stadium. It is October 10th. There are runners, St. Louis runners, on first and second with nobody out, and Curt Flood, the batter. John Hiller has just come in to replace Mickey Lolich on the mound, and here's the pitch to Curt Flood. And it's off the pitcher's card. It's a 6. John Hiller, 6'4". And that's a 1-12 home run, and that ball is hit way back. Going back is the left fielder Horton to the track, to the fence, looks up, and that ball is gone. A 3-run home run by Curt Flood against Hiller. And that gives the Cardinals a 5-3 lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And it's Orlando Cepeda. So Hiller comes in and gives up a 3-run homer to Curt Flood. Here's the pitch to Cepeda. It's 5-7 off Hiller's card. 7 is a ground ball, second base X. It's a 4. Second baseman is 2. And that's going to be a ball that McAuliffe handles easily, and that's 1 away. Mike Shannon is 1 for 3. He doubled and drove in a run in the first inning. And it's a 5-6. 5-6 is a split and that ball is hit hard into left field, but the left fielder, Horton, gets over there. So that's 2 down, and it's Tim McCarver. And that's going to be 3-6, so that's off McCarver's card, and that's going to be a line drive base hit. McCarver's on at first. And Roger Maris is 0 for 3 on the day. His last game, his last at bat of his career, and it's going to be 4-10. 4-10 is off Hiller's card. 4-10 is catcher's card. 15, catcher is a 2. Freehand is a 2, and that's a 15, a 15, that's a foul out. And that's the 3rd out, but in the bottom of the 8th, the Cards score 3 big runs off a 3-run home run by Curt Flood, and they take the lead 5-3. Go to the top of the 9th. And it's Gibson still in there. Gibson is still in there, and he's going to pitch to, I don't know what I did with Hiller. I wanted to throw him where the pitcher would go. There you go. All right. It's going to be Northrup, Freehand, and a pinch hitter for Wirt. So Northrup is coming to bat. Here's the pitch to Northrup, and it's a 3-5. A 3-5 is a fly ball, center field, 1 away. The Cardinals 2 outs away from being world champs. And it's Bill Freehand against Bob Gibson. There's like 10 seconds to do that. All right. 3-8. 3-8 against Freehand. That's a fly ball to Brock. 2 away. And they're down to their last out, and to bat is going to be, so we're going to bring up here, we're going to bring up Gates Brown. Gates Brown had a tremendous year. Well, at least the little he played of that year, 92 at bats. He had 7 doubles, 2 triples, 6 home runs, 370 batting average. He's going to come in and pinch hit. Brown for Wirt. Top of the 9th against Bob Gibson, who's trying to go the complete game and win the World Series for the Cards. Here's the pitch from Gibson. 2-9. It's going to be a 12, so that's a line out, caught by the second baseman, and the game is over. The World Series goes to the St. Louis Cardinals, that at one point led the series 3-0. The Tigers came back, tied the series, and led it going into the bottom of the 8th by a score of 3-2. If it wasn't for Flood's 3-run home run, the Tigers would have come back 4 straight and won the World Series. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I don't want to go over too much on the time. Tune in to my next World Series, my Retro World Series. I'm doing some research right now as we speak to figure out what teams I will be playing. All right, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Final score, world champion St. Louis Cards. We could not rewrite history. The final score is Cards 5 and the Tigers 3. Great game. Take care.